The final UFC Fight Night of 2025 in the ESPN era is coming up, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip any part of the video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, we are going to be going through the channel betting recap, confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I believe you should not be betting on, my personal lock of the week, and then we're going to close things out with looking for any props and parlays. That's a little bit more of the unstructured part of the video at the end. With that being said, like I said, if you'd like to skip to any part, timestamps are there. Let's get started with the channel betting recap. And for the channel betting recap, guys, I am pleased to say that we have another nice, wonderful, clean sweep over here, guys. Unfortunately, we did have a fun and entertainment value parlay, just a bet that I like to throw out there for fun. As I always say on this channel, I hate parlays in MMA. Something's always bound to go wrong. That was Jalen Turner to win, which was like lock of the year, okay? I cannot believe that Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira ended when it did, dude. I cannot believe it. It was so close to the point where the only reason that this actually wasn't like a single bet of mine as Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira is because the odds were so horrible for it. I just wanted to boost Jalen Turner a little bit. I was looking at that fight to go to the distance. But thankfully, it's just in the little nice entertainment section. We did have 3 official single plays for Peyton Talbot to win. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira over 1.5 rounds. 2.5 had really good odds if you guys happen to be taking a look at that. And Joshua Van does it yet again. Now, it's important to note with, as I said in the note over here, I'm not confident in Joshua Van to get the job done. But if you guys have been following the channel, I have been betting on Joshua Van regardless of the opponent pretty well his entire career. And he's still not letting me down, dude. And you know what? I don't care if it's Taira. I don't care if it's a Pantoja rematch. I'm putting my money back down on Joshua Van. And he was like, of course, it's way too early to tell, obviously, right, how that fight was going to go. But he came in. The guy was not fearful of Pantoja one little bit. And he was even on his way to maybe taking down Pantoja. Like, crazy. Crazy. That guy will forever be worth your money, man. So, I'm happy to report we did have another clean sweep, which was nice to see, guys. If you are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing what I'm betting on for you each UFC card, then check out the channel membership in the pinned comment description down below right next to the subscribe button. It's very cheap compared to other channels. Every time that there's a UFC card, I sprinkle in with other promotions, but I am primarily a UFC bettor. Every Friday or Saturday morning, depending on whether or not I like to bet on any Friday fights, I'll be posting a community members post just like this, as well as a members only video diving deeper into why I made my picks for everything, guys. Again, if you want to either support the channel or take my fight knowledge, combine it with your own research, whatever it may be, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your support. Let's continue on with the video for today, guys, with the confident picks. And for the confident picks today, guys, while these are confident picks that I'm about to present to you, I'm not too big on this card for betting. I see a bunch of value in a few fights, but there's nothing that's really screaming out to me around here, okay? Especially with some of the odds over here, okay? The first confident pick is going to be Kennedy Nzechukwu. It's a case of Marcus Buchecha being inexperienced at a top level. I spoke about it in my full card breakdown. While I do oftentimes glaze the one championship athletes, he in particular has not fought anybody of significance. He's past his prime. He didn't look good in his UFC debut, and he fought somebody that is much worse than Kennedy Nzechukwu. I imagine Kennedy Nzechukwu will be able to stay on the outside. He'll be faster, and he'd probably catch Marcus Buchecha with some massive shots. Kennedy Nzechukwu is a confident pick of mine, and if you guys happen to be new to the channel over here, we already have a full card breakdown, diving into every fight as deep as we can possibly get over here. So if you're interested in longer videos, go check that out. Let's circle over to the PFL for the next confident pick, and it's going to be Vadim Nemkov. Renan Ferreira is massive. Renan Ferreira has power, but I believe that Vadim Nemkov is the more well-rounded and just flat-out better fighter no matter where the fight ends up. I know that he's going to have a big reach disadvantage, but I'm confident in his preparation. I'm confident in the people behind him, and I do like him to win this fight. He's a very, very good fighter in comparison to Renan Ferreira, in my opinion. I'm not saying Renan Ferreira sucks. It's just I'm a believer in Vadim Nemkov, guys. Let's continue on over to the next confident pick, Jillian Robertson. I see a clear path to victory over here. If we were talking about Amanda Lemos on the come-up, maybe I'd be having a different conversation with you. But at this point in Lemos' career, I just see a world where Jillian Robertson has been improving her skill set. I see her pushing forward. I see her getting the takedowns. Maybe finding a submission, but I think she'll coast her way to a victory. I do like Jillian Robertson in this matchup, just for Amanda Lemos in particular. I'm not sold on Jillian Robertson being this top contender yet, but Amanda Lemos is a little bit on the way out. So let's continue on over to the next confident pick, guys, and it's going to be Taylor Lapilus back over in the PFL. It's a classic case of you have a ranked, at least like a borderline ranked level UFC fighter in Taylor Lapilus. I don't know why I'm having trouble rolling that off the tongue over there. He's shown to be a great contestant in the UFC. He's shown to be great so far outside of the UFC. He's somebody who definitely belongs in the UFC, and he's taken on a guy who quite isn't UFC level. I think it's that simple for this fight. I expect Taylor Lapilus to end up winning this fight. Let's continue, guys, on over to the next part of the video. That being some underdog opportunities. These are not bets that I'm going to be making. It's just if you're strictly looking for value, I could very well see these just crashing down and the underdog winning. And the first one's going to be Melissa Croden. This one, guys, I'm honestly tempted to bet on. I haven't decided what I'm going to be betting on this time around, guys, but I am not sold on Luana Santos. Is her ground game the real deal? Yes. But she is very one-dimensional, and she's taking on Melissa Croden, who isn't nearly as good technically, but she's gritty. She's violent in that octagon. I can see a world where Luana Santos maybe like clinches up, maybe the fight goes to the ground, depending on who wants it on the ground. But I could see Melissa Croden just, I don't care where you are right now, I'm going to punch you to death. And that's going to make Luana Santos a little bit uncomfortable. I actually believe Melissa Croden will win this fight. I'm tempted to bet on this one, but at the end of the day, it is WMMA, so that's kind of what's stopping me. I really, really like Melissa Croden in this matchup, guys. Now, I imagine that I'll hear about this one, okay? Giga Chikadze is another underdog opportunity. At the time of recording this video, or last time that I looked at least, he was at 3.00 odds, which is too much in my opinion. Too much. Kevin Vallejos has looked good. I'm just not sold on him yet. He's having great performances, but it's against guys that aren't really anything to make note of besides maybe Danny Silva. Giga Chikadze, while he's past his prime, I see a world where he keeps him at bay with the jab. I see him making I see a world where he makes Kevin Vallejos uncomfortable with the kicks. This is a big step up in competition. A big one. It could be a case of pushing a prospect way too soon. I'm not confident in saying that. It's just I think Giga Chikadze has value at his name right now, guys. Let's continue on over to the final confident pick. These odds are ridiculous. Brandon Royval. Last I looked, 340, Brandon Royval. That is insane. That is disrespectful. He's the number one contender. He's a guy that went toe-to-toe with the greatest fighters in the flyweight division. He's a guy that went toe-to-toe with the champion. Both of them. The disrespect on the odds for this one is insane. Those are incorrect odds regardless of who's going to win. Brandon Royval should not be as much of an underdog as he is. He is absolutely an underdog opportunity. He's worth taking a stab at, guys. Let's continue on over to the next part of the video over here where we talk about a few fights that I believe you should not be betting on. Now, the first fight, I love for a round line. Depending on what it comes up, 1.5, 2.5. If you guys follow the channel, you might know I'm a 1.5 guy. Morgan Charrier, Melquizel Costa. It's a case where you have two great prospects, great fighters, really, really, really tough guys clashing. I have no idea what's going to happen here. I believe it to be about a 50-50 fight. If you had a gun to my head, I'd say Morgan Charrier. But this is a fight that could go either way. I think both of them are tough enough to last 1.5 rounds. Depending on what the odds are for that, that's something that I'll personally be looking into. Let's continue on over to the next fight that I believe you should not be betting on. It's actually Cesar Almeida versus Sereze Olegstruck, and I apologize, I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. Cesar Almeida is a very, very underrated fighter. Father Time hasn't shown to catch up with him just yet. He's been performing well in the UFC. He's been getting better. He's been rounding out his game very well, and he's taking on a hungry contender who hasn't exactly proved himself yet. I think it's that simple. This fight could go either way. I'm not too sure what to think about it. Plus, you have to worry about the age of Cesar Almeida. At what point is he going to show up there past his prime? I don't know, man. I don't like betting on this one personally, regardless of what prop you choose or anything like that. Let's circle over. I do have one more fight that I believe you guys should not be betting on, and I don't know if I'm going to hear about this one. It's Neil Magny versus Yaroslav Amosov. Now, Neil Magny is a big underdog. I thought about throwing him in the underdog opportunity section, but I don't know. This fight's just a little unpredictable to me, and I know that you could argue that means there's value on the Neil Magny side. There's also a world where he just gets smothered, you know? But my point being, I'm not sold on Yaroslav. He has a good skill set. He has a good record. He has a lot of experience against better guys than you would typically see with people coming into the UFC. So he can come in and he can perform well. But how many times have we seen this now? Where you have this guy that's been looking so good outside the UFC, coming into the UFC against a guy in Neil Magny who has all of the experience in the world of the best in the world, just for someone like Yaroslav to get crushed. That could very well happen again. But the problem is, he does seem like he can compete. You know, we'll just have to wait and see how he performs. On top of that, Neil Magny hasn't looked this good as he's been looking in years. He's showing up in better shape. He's throwing more volume than he ever has, things like that. I don't know how this fight's going to go. I'm not so sold on Neil Magny to the point where I think that he should be an underdog opportunity. I just think this might be one to avoid. That's not one that I'm thinking about taking a stab at personally. I don't know if anybody's on the Yaroslav train. I don't think anybody should be. So we'll just have to wait and see how he ends up performing inside the octagon. Now, guys, let's continue on over to Lock of the Week. The fighter on the card that I believe has the greatest chance of winning out of all of them. While there is no 100% locks in MMA, I believe the best fighter on the card in this best matchup is Joanderson Brito to win over Melsik Baghdasaryan. You have Melsik Baghdasaryan, who's been a very inactive fighter. You have Joanderson Brito, who besides one loss that he had, no matter where the fight goes, the guy is gritty. The guy, like I was kind of talking about at the beginning of the video, Joshua Van, Joanderson Brito is usually worth your money. The heart that he shows, the violence that he shows, the grit that he shows, you can trust him to bring a fight, and he will absolutely bring the fight to Melsik Baghdasaryan. I believe that he'll be good enough to contend with Melsik on the feet if it does stay there, but Melsik has nowhere near the level of ground game that Joanderson Brito has, and if Joanderson Brito comes under the grappling-heavy approach, I see him having nothing but success over here. Joanderson Brito is my most confident pick on the entire card. I fully expect him to win that, guys. Now, let's continue on, guys, over to the more unstructured part of the video. Let's take a look at any props that are available right now, and then we're going to see if we can make any, for fun parlays. And we do have the over-unders, okay? This is exciting to see because I was interested in this, okay? When I did the full card breakdown, it was too early and these weren't out, okay? Let's see. Luana Santos, Melissa Croden. If you're a believer, Melissa Croden to have a stoppage, but I don't like that. Under 2.5 for Neil Magny. No, Morgan Sherrier, Melquizel Costa, crap. Over 2.5 at minus 220. I wanted juicy odds on that, but I didn't expect it. It's not something that I would really, take a look at too much. There's nothing that's screaming out so far, man. We have Steven Asplin, Sean Sheriff over 0.5 rounds. That's funny. You don't see that too often. Melsik Baghdasaryan, Joanderson Brito. I don't mind an over for that one, but there's nothing over here that's really making me go, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. Minus 150 for over 3.5 versus Manel Cap and Brandon Royval isn't bad either. I don't think that either of them are going to finish each other. That's a tough fight. That one's probably the best one that we've taken a look at so far, actually. Manel Cap, Brandon Royval, over 3.5 at minus 150. That's fair odds for that one. Now, let's continue on, guys, over to the more still unstructured part of the video over here. Let's take a look at any parlays that we can make over here. Sorry, wrong side of the screen. Now, if you follow the channel, something my sister and I do every single week, we put 10 cents on every single underdog. One time watching Bellator, we were almost millionaires. Let's see what we can get over here. Let's see what we got. Probably not too much. Let's put 10 cents. Nothing this time. Now let's make some parlays, okay? Let's put some confident picks over here. Man, oh, you know what? Jamie Lynn Horth is an underdog opportunity too. 240. I should have talked about that, to be honest with you, okay? Let's take a look at, I like Melissa Croden in this matchup, guys. I'll just do some picks that I like, okay? Melissa Croden. We're going to pick Joanderson Brito. We're going to pick Jillian Robertson, Kenny Nzechukwu. Ooh, don't touch that fight. And we're going to pick Brandon Royval. Something's bound to go wrong. Like I talked about at the beginning of the video, MMA is too crazy to parlay. I do not like doing it, but if you're going to do a two-leg, let's see if there's anything that we can make that is like close to plus money. Okay, Joanderson Brito, I like Jillian Robertson, man, but it's a WMMA. Crazy. What else we got going on over here? Let's see. Another favorite, Kenny Nzechukwu. That's not bad. That's actually, if you're going to go for a two-legger, I don't mind that at all, to be honest with you. But there's even just, I like the underdogs this week, man. Like, I love Brandon Royval. Those odds were worse last night. I was looking at the Brandon Royval odds because I was thinking about betting on him. Brandon Royval, yeah, I know it's closing now. I bet a bunch of people jumped on that. Morgan Sherrier, Melquizel Costa, Kenny Nzechukwu, Jillian Robertson, no. Where's the other underdog? Melissa Croden at 240. I don't mind that. There is certainly potential this week, guys. If you want to watch a full card breakdown and hear me yap about these fights as deep as we can get, check out this video on screen. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very, very much for being here and watching, guys. Take care, everybody.